Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and tonight is our monthly Venus Circle. We get together around the activation of Moon and Venus connecting once a month. Every month they get together in a different sign. This month is Gemini. We are on the Reclamation side, reclaiming at the solar plexus, our power center. So that's going to be an important chakra to focus on tonight. But first and foremost, let's anchor and unify the circle, give people another minute or two to arrive safely and comfortably. I want to invite our benevolent angels and loving ancestors, personal animal guides, and helping spirits, and Orisha to be with us tonight. We each have a powerful, invisible team of support, and it's even more potent when we bring them together like this. So take a deep breath, making that connection above, below, and at the heart. Deep breath in. And hold and release. I want you to start at your heart chakra, where we're going to honor the direction of the east, an initiation point, and where we access the inner wisdom of the mind and the element of air. Here I want you to picture a beautiful emerald green crystal, or some shade of green that is your favorite. You can use flowers or crystals or whatever you like right there. But feel that expansion, connect to that vibration, connect to the element of air in your breath. Breathe as if you're breathing through and from your heart. Try to conjure the most joyous feeling that you can in this moment. Very often, no matter what I'm going through, if I picture an 18-month-old baby frolicking on the beach as if he or she remembers being here before and is so excited to be back. That always opens my heart. So whatever does it for you, open that heart, make that connection, and take a deep breath in. And hold and release. Come on down to your solar plexus, your power center, the star of the show tonight. Here we honor the direction of south, a culmination point, and we access the inner wisdom of the spirit and the element of fire. So here I want you to picture a beautiful golden yellow crystal, your favorite shade of yellow, infused with light from within and spinning brightly. Make that connection to your own power center and take a deep cleansing breath in. And hold and release. Come on down to your creative center, where we honor the direction of the west, a completion point, and where we access the inner wisdom of the soul and the element of water. So make that connection to your creative center, picturing your favorite shade of orange crystal infused with light from within, activating your infinite energetic flow, creative flow, and cash flow, all part of this chakra work. And let's take a deep breath in, making that connection to your own authentic creativity. Deep breath in. And hold and release. Come on down to the root chakra, where we honor the direction of north, a conception point, and where we access the inner wisdom of the body and the element of earth, so we can be here now. I want you to picture a beautiful ruby red crystal infused with light from within and spinning brightly. Make that connection to your own base. Open up to receive nutrient from the core that is yours by divine right, and breathe it in. Deep breath. And hold and release. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm so excited. We do have extra fun guests tonight. Miss Nasa Bawa is waiting in the wings while I set the table, set the tone here. And we're going to bring her in between every little morsel of goodness we go through tonight. Our goal here for some newcomers that are just sitting in maybe for the first time is that the Venus cycle is an 18-month cycle where we spend 9 months releasing and 9 months reclaiming. And at the moment, you all are coming in at the tail end of a Capricorn cycle where we are reclaiming at a higher level our chosen roles and responsibilities, the commitments that we want to make, and at an enlightened level, at a higher level going forward. We've just recalibrated all our values and priorities over the last few years around that, and we're preparing for a new cycle. So tonight, we are focused on the activation that technically happens on April 23rd, so about a week from now, when you might notice Venus and Moon in the sky. So be sure to get out there and look for them being together. It's always beautiful to catch them like that. This month, I want to start, what I usually do too is I do a quick review. Even if you haven't been with us, it's always interesting to hear from people about what's been coming up for them before they got here. So last month, Venus Moon met in Taurus, and we were doing our reclamation at the heart chakra. And it was all about reclaiming self-love, beauty, and sustenance while solidifying embodied passion and vitality. That's when we had Carmen Harris on, and she helped us about that full embodiment, that full presence that goes into the Taurus energy of having a physical experience. So how many people are feeling like, even if you haven't literally manifested it just yet, you have, because of the shift in your values, upgraded your level of existence in some way? We are on the cusp of beautifying, improving, making things more real for us as individuals based on our own individual values. How much has been rearranged in your values and resources that has opened up space for you to be more authentic and, again, kind of have that pleasurable experience in the body versus all the pain and suffering that is also possible with this physical vehicle. How much did your values come up over the last month or so in terms of if your heart isn't in it, you just can't do it. You can't even make yourself do it anymore. I don't know about y'all, but I can't at all, even a little bit. And so that kind of leads, once we get cracked open at the heart. And, here's another good thing, a Kellyism I need to let y'all know. Because we do 9 months of release and 9 months of reclamation, we also start at the root and end at the root. So we started at the root chakra, release, all the way up to the crown. We made that connection to our soul star, which is our higher self. And clean and pure since October, whether you're with us or not, you've been reclaiming and bringing back down from pure consciousness through your third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, and where we are tonight is the solar plexus. And then we have the sacral and the root, and it's going to be a powerful culmination to this entire cycle. So tonight's focus, out of that comes our Gemini solar plexus zone, where we're reclaiming our self-expression, clarity, and creativity at a whole new level. Who you are, what you want has evolved and changed. Your values and priorities have evolved and changed. Post-COVID, we are all a little more clear, at least I hope, in this crew. We are crystal clear about what does not work and what will not be sustainable going forward. And so because those fundamental shifts in our values has happened, now we're all reorganizing our priorities so that we can have a better embodiment and a better experience. Because the powers that be would have us all in our heads and all in these computers and all online in this virtual reality to the neglect of our literal physical reality. And I'm not having it. So we are going narrow and deep to reclaim that power of your own mind, your own consciousness, your own thinking and thought processes so that you can be, is on here too, I think. The ability to be a creative, critical thinker is one of the things we're reclaiming for sure. But first things first, this month is about connecting to the power of your voice, upgrading how you express your truth and purpose, recognizing how much you have learned, and tapping into your own creative genius so that you can share it with the world in new and different ways. Okay, deep breath. What's new and different? How has everything that you're doing or expressing been upgraded? Because this activation is in Gemini, it is also related to the power of your mind, your thoughts, and your ideas and concepts. We can change our own consciousness in an instant, but the physical manifestation of the higher level usually takes time to manifest, build, and sustain. It also reminds you that you have just gained access to this new level, this new level of consciousness and this new level of power. So you need some time to learn how it works for you personally, when and how much to express it outwardly, and how much to hold in reserve for your own needs, goals, and aspirations. It's a balance. Deep breath. The Liberator archetype, which I know Miss Nasa has lots to speak on, asks you to free yourself from past definitions and limitations. Let go of old obligations, shift your perspective, get present, and consciously expand your repertoire of responses to life. We want a repertoire of responses. We don't want to always respond the same way, the same trigger, the same, tone, all of that. Let's mix it up. Let's have some additional responses that, people aren't really expecting. I love that. That always wakes people up. We want to expand the repertoire of responses to life, to others, and to the world. All three levels. You're in a new zone with whole new consciousness, which means you also have access to new information to guide your own life. You have released or integrated aspects of self that make you stronger and more clear about your own values and priorities so that you are capable and confident about your choices and decisions. The light work of this archetype is to expand and express your embodied wisdom and individual power. Deep breath. This month will fortify the connection to your spiritual body and solar plexus chakra, initiating and reclaiming your connection to source and committing to being a better channel for power going forward. Okay, we want to be clean channels for power to move through. We are not the source. We are a channel, one of many. You are not in control. You are not running things. You are not the source. Woo! Isn't that a relief? Now you can direct your own power and dedicate your own energy to being a clear, open channel. You want to be a unique channel for source energy to move through, a clean channel for creativity to move through, and a clear channel for communication between your body, mind, and spirit. That kind of communication happens through the heart, but you embody it when you honor your own power center by living it day in and day out. Activate your power to think for yourself and decide what defines and supports your life. Then honor the courage it will take to maintain that yourself. Ashe, deep breath. All right, baby girl, you want to star 6 and riff on that for a minute? Tell people about yourself real quick. Introduce yourself just in case.
Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me?
Beautiful, yes. Thank you, baby.
Perfect. So as Kelly was speaking, I was actually putting down some notes because I've been really noodling all day of where was I going to begin? Where was I going to begin the conversation? And when she said rewiring and changing old ideas and moving towards personal power, I knew where we needed to start. We need to start at how we even identify ourselves and who we believe ourselves to be. We have to start there. I have lately become highly, highly uncomfortable with identifying myself as human. And I'm uncomfortable with it because, to me, it reduces us down to something and disconnects us from the true reality of who we are. And I'm a wordsmith, even though Kelly knows that I make up words, and I do that because I know that I can, because, words are nothing but something that man came up with, so I love to re-identify them.
Oh, I did mean to tell you, one of our made-up words is lunatation.
Lunatation.
Lunatation. I think they meant to say lunation, and that one just stuck for years. So y'all,
I love lunatation.
It's a beautiful thing.
I love lunatation. It gives me very, lunatic a little bit, which is kind of where we are right now. It's funny, we're changing away from that. But what we really are spiritual beings. The whole word human, if you look at the etymology of that word, it's very patriarchal. It comes from Adam, identifying the first human as being a man, and so now we're all defining that. And so it doesn't really properly describe who we are. And until we really understand who we are, it will be difficult for us to fully step into our personal power, which I know what we want to be able tonight. So a part of us reclaiming tonight is I want us to reclaim who we really are. We are not spiritual beings having a human experience. I want to play off of Carmen and what she spoke about last month. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, And so when we start breaking that down, we got to start deciding, like, well, how do we do that? How do we, as spiritual beings, come in this physical reality and end up becoming all of who we are? And I hear you, Spirit, saying, I didn't even introduce myself. So hello, my name is Naseret Barwa. I am an ancestor medium. I work with all of the ancestors as well as an energy worker. And for me, how I try to translate that is I teach us how to maximize our DNA code and our consciousness. And so I'm going to touch on that too throughout. So let's redefine ourselves as spiritual beings having a physical experience. So then the question becomes, well, how do I have a spiritual experience here in this physical planet without engaging in some of the tactics that no longer work? We're moving from man code to universal code. And that is what is causing a lot of suffering, is us trying to understand how do we let go of all of the ways society says that we should be able to produce and cape and dance for others and overwork and not rest. And I'm reminded, Kelly, of the sacred text that says that if you struggle to do anything, you should only struggle to rest. And so how do we bring these personal power, our manifestation? And then something comes in called Ori. And then I'll pause here when I tell you what Ori is. Ori is a concept within Ifa, the tradition of the Yoruba people, which Kelly and I practice. And Ori is many, many things. It's very complicated. And you will find when you start studying in Yoruba, you will find that one word can mean so many different things, so many very deep things. But tonight, what I want us to focus on is Ori as your spiritual archive. So as an ancestor medium, I also can peek into past lives and look and see where you have been and what you have done. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't matter how many ancestors you have. It doesn't matter how many lifetimes you have lived. In Ifa, we say you only get one Ori. And so that Ori becomes the access to your personal power because it houses all of the yous that you were. It holds everything that you were. And that's powerful in this time right now because now we got to reach back. We got to go to the archives back when we could use our mind to move rocks and when you could just step outside and talk to the wolves and talk to nature and be able to navigate. We got to go back, guys. We have to go back and learn how to balance our intellect and our intuition. So the first part that I want to pause just to reiterate what Kelly said is for us to first and foremost redefine what type of being we are so that we can now start reaching towards other things because the human code is no longer valuable for us anymore. We have to move to universal code. Do you want me to continue, Kelly, or do you want to piggyback on that?
That's a perfect segue because it is a Gemini month, and so she's bringing in that we are multidimensional beings. So if you don't already think of yourself as such, then asking yourself how multidimensional you are, starting with mind, body, spirit, you got 3 right there, but you go any deeper, and you have access to new codes, to new information, to new understanding and wisdom of your own, through your filter, no middleman. Y'all know I don't like the middleman concept. And so, yes, on that, we are going to be reclaiming that balance and integration of our intellect and intuition. But what does that mean? That's our masculine and feminine. We feel it, and we think it through. We do both. We run it through the heart and the head. We run it through both filters. What we want to do is a heart, head, heart thing, kind of like the life, death, life cycle. We want 2 hearts to 1 head, 2 lives to 1 death kind of thing. So think in terms of how much you use one or the other. And just like we have a dominant hand that we write with, we have a dominant way of moving through the world. So exercising that other, I talk about it in using new mediums of expression because I'm a linguist too. That's part of the reason we bonded is over the language thing. And at the same time, I'm having so much fun with visual learning and teaching that it's activating a creative part of me that wouldn't otherwise be allowed to express. So play with that this month, this whole month. Activate that creative, critical thinker. Feel in your body when something's presented. Is this truth for me? Or is this, just a passing story that I have to listen to as we move through our day? And what is your new story or the expression of your truth and purpose in a new way? How can you write that new story or that new narrative that you can live into going forward? And how much has your story changed in the last 15, 16 months, which is a little over a year, that we've been in this zone of reorganizing our priorities, reallocating our resources, and rethinking our relationships, which ones really serve and support and protect us, and which ones have become burdensome and draining and they need to go and be composted. Or, again, we ask for the humans in our world to rise up or go away. We're not going down. That's how that works. And so access to and the ability to express your own unique brilliance, your authentic self in new and different ways, that's going to come up right now. Because, again, if we did the clearing, and all of us did some kind of clearing, during the 9 months of basically January to October of 22, cleared, released, let go, things that just wouldn't work, wouldn't take root, things like that. And we got from October to now where we've been piecing things back together in ways that hopefully are strengthening your foundation in general, but also making you feel safer to tell the people closest to you, you know what, I changed my mind. I got some new information. I have an awakened consciousness. I'm reaching a new level. Yes, I used to think that way. I used to do those things. Those things used to turn me on. When we're talking Venus, it's the things that we're magnetized to and naturally repelled by. And that evolves over time, right? And so just know where you are and how much of your authentic self do you allow expression and strength and fortification. The ability to think clearly and multidimensionally without blowing your circuits. That's important because we want to be able to think multidimensionally, but not if it's going to take you out. So then that means you got to start slower than most people there. And I can testify to this. I have a speedy processor. My husband has a very slow processor. He just asked me on the computers, what's the highest speed? I don't even know. I have an i7. I think it might go to i9. I don't know. And I told him he's still at i3. And I have to allow for that because that's his processor. And we don't want to make it wrong or bad, but I do speak my piece and walk away because otherwise I'll lose my mind. And I give it 3 days, and within 3 days he always comes back. I thought about what you said, and he responds. We also want to be able to filter everything that the mind suggests through the body and through the heart. Okay? So our mind, the monkey mind, has lots of ideas. Infinite potential up in there. So running it through the body and heart tells us what we're supposed to really be doing this lifetime, in this embodiment, with this avatar, as Malcolm would say. New and different choices, options, opportunities become available because of your new consciousness, right? So if we have awakened post-COVID into what's really important to us for our home life and what's really important to us for our work life, now we're getting to the what's really important for our creative life and for those other dimensions that we often neglect for survival mode. How can we activate the next level? New and different social interactions with equals or above. Again, I love to surround myself with people smarter than me because that's the only way I can learn. And so you want to be in environments, especially right now, because there's all kinds of the Aquarian age coming in. You want to know different walks of life, different perspectives, different ideas, and how can we, especially in this Western culture that claims to be such a melting pot and is comprised of so much diversity, how can we honor all that and then still maintain our sovereignty, our independence, our good boundaries where we're not violating each other? How do we do that? What does that look like? And what is it in real practice on the ground, not just the theory on paper? Community love, support, and protection. There's nothing more important. Yay's always telling us our communities are our wealth because when you have the community, whether it's online or in person, we encourage in person more than ever. We need the in-person on the ground support for each other. Somebody always has what somebody else needs. And there can be this exchange, this energetic exchange, this actual literal exchanges like a barter system. There are ways for us to get our needs met without their cash money system all the time. I'm not saying that system isn't useful and doesn't speed things along, but I have done it so many times I can't even count that I'm trying to write a book called Dreams, Desires, and Deja Vus. And in it is going to be all the little magical things that have ever happened to me. Because no one will believe it. And thank God I have my husband to witness at least half of them. So think about that and who you're connected to, and how is that a reflection of your authentic self and truth. Your authentic voice and the invocative power of language. We invoke a life force when we utter words and things and put meaning and emotion and feeling behind them, right? I mean, obviously, if there's no meaning and emotion and feeling behind them, they don't mean shit. But when you put that vehemence behind it, you can manifest so much quicker. Be mindful of the words you use to define yourself, to define any situation, to always leave room for spirit to work in some kind of way. And then I just got to say this because we're talking Venus and the moon, which is our rhythms. Gemini is our consciousness, and it would be a certain repetitiveness of practices that would go under that. So conscious rhythms and daily practices. Think about that. What does that mean for you? We don't want to be just sleepwalking through our lives. That's not going to work. Darling, you want to pop in and speak on any number of these reclaim bullets?
Absolutely. I wanted to give people a little bit of a path, if I could, of how to operate in this multidimensional reality, because you're right. At any given time, when you are here within this realm, you are running off past life karma, you're running off ancestral karma, and you're running off karma from this current lifetime. And so how do we balance that? So I want to start actually with a quote, one of my favorite quotes by one of my favorite people whom I always joke and say I believe he is one of my spirit guides, and that's Albert Einstein. So I'm going to read this to you. This is one of his quotes. And mind you, he passed in 1955. So we are in 2023 right now, and we still haven't gotten this. This man was a genius and studied the universe, and we should really listen to what he has to say. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And we will not solve the problems of the world from the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. More than anything else, this new century, and that was back in 1955, this new century demands new thinking. We must change our materially based analysis of the world around us to include broader, more multi-dimensional perspectives. And so here we are again. So let me give you a little bit of a map. This is what quantum science is really teaching us, and this is the most difficult thing that we as humans who have been conditioned years after centuries of being and looking at things analytically. The heart is actually, in this realm, speaks to the mind far more than the mind speaks to the heart. And this is why we have so much suffering, because our hearts are communicating to us, do this, go here, leave this place. But because we are so afraid and we have so much rejection in our hearts and old stories and old archives that we keep playing out, we let our intellect look around us to be able to create. That is what Einstein is talking about when he's talking about material thinking. When you are a multidimensional thinker, that means that you are tapping into heart, tapping into the electromagnetic field. And then you are asking your intellect to support what the heart says. And that's not what we do. Oh, you need to leave that job. Oh, I can't leave the job because I got this to pay. Oh, you need to move forward and go after this person for this business opportunity. Oh, that person might reject us. And then we are operating in physical thinking. We're not operating in multidimensional thinking. Your heart has brain matter in it, and it connects through your entire body through the vagus nerve. And so our practice here, if we really, really want to change our lives, and I got to think that you ain't here on this call on a Thursday night when you could be doing so many other things if you wanted your life to stay the same. No, we're trying to reclaim, right? We're trying to work with the planets and all of this. We're really learning how to be a multidimensional being. You will not do that if you are leaning from your intellect. So we all have to start reprogramming ourselves. And we all have to start clearing out the heart first, because if you got a lot of unforgiveness in there, and I'm talking about, you got to forgive mama for the stuff that mama did, the stuff that daddy did. Then you got to forgive yourself for anything that you may have done or you may have allowed yourself to do, so we can lighten that heart up. And once that heart...
Oh, my God, I'm sorry. I got to jump in here real quick.
Go ahead, Mama.
If you think about the next thing I was going to cover was that in order to reclaim at the power center, we had to release at the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to be in Gemini, and it was the trickster energy. Manipulation, duplicity, gossip, deceitfulness, misrepresentation. We cleared all that out. We were not going to be articulating that way anymore, or expressing ourselves that way anymore. And we cleared up the trickster archetype that gets us in trouble. Now there's a witty and wise trickster, is like you, the Liberator. Or what did you call yourself? It's not change agent. You use a word, disruptor. Not to call this stuff the disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to remind you all that back in June of 2022, if you can remember, if you can go to your journals, if you can look through your photos and just feel into how you were realizing that sometimes the words coming out of your mouth were not truthful for what your heart believed, or what your heart felt.
Yes, your Ofo Ashe, as we call it in Ifa, is the master manifester. That's really what, because something can pop into your mind and it can pop into your heart, but the moment you say it, and that includes your inner voice too, whatever you agree with, okay, whatever circuit that comes through that you agree with, and then you add your speech to that, that's what really starts to bring in manifestation. But when we're talking about how do I operate as a spiritual being, because spiritual existence is the only existence there is. Everything else is an illusion. So let's forget all of that. Everything else is an illusion. So now it becomes, well, how do I do that? How do I take away the suffering? It really is, like Kelly said, you have to allow those emotions to come in. Like Tanita said, then you have to be able to kind of mold that around with your higher self, or what we call Ori, Ipan Ri. We're going to talk about, like I said, bring in Ori. So first it comes in through the heart, and then thank you so much. Then you take it up to your higher self, your limbic system in the brain, and you say, oh, I'm not sure how we're going to make this happen, because I don't see it, but I understand that my job is actually to bring things from the unseen realm and actually bring that down. So I'm going to have to believe it first in order to see it, not see it to believe it. That's old code. That's human code, okay? That's where we're leaning on intellect. Now we're leaning on heart now. We're leaning on the unseen. So that's going to come in through the brain, through that heart chakra center. That's where that information is going to come in here on this realm. Everything comes through the heart. We feel that. We agree with it through our mind's eye. We bring it to visualization. And then we bring voice to it, either through the inner voice by agreeing with our inner voice, or physically saying, oh, thank you for that vision, heart. Thank you so much for allowing me to know what is possible. From there, our job begins, because we now have to make sure that all of our words, all of our actions, and everything that we are visualizing is aligning with what heart is saying. Now, I want to introduce a word, and then I'll pause here for a second. And a lot of times we equate this word to religion, but it's not. It's a spiritual word, and that is called faith. And I'm always drawn to the sacred saying that says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Now, that's very contradictory, because when you look up the word evidence, it says that it is the body of facts that support a belief. So how do we do that? We go back to understand we are spiritual beings, and we do not see before we believe. We believe before we see. And the fact that it came down, the fact that our heart told us it was so, is all the evidence that we need. We don't need any more seeing in order to believe. We know and we believe because our heart tells us it is true. And that becomes the work now, everybody. The work is now, how do I detach from the seen world and go into my spirit self and grab the things that are not seen and bring those things, birth those things out into the physical reality. So we got to do some rewiring here and turn off that brain and let that brain is that masculine energy. Everything starts with feminine energy, not masculine energy. Patriarchy has fooled you and made you believe that you see things and then you go off of what you see. But we live in a matriarchal world, my love. That's what it is. And so you have to go into the unseen place by using the compass of your heart after you realize what's going on. Then you raise to the other dimension of that intellect to be able to put together through visualization, through faith, through belief, through the evidence of things not seen. And I always say fear and faith both operate on the same thing. They both operate on the same thing. You are fearing things that have not happened yet. You're creating all of these stories and pictures in your head based off of fear. And that's okay, because that's what you have been conditioned to do. But a part of waking up and coming into your personal power is now realizing that you can do things another way. Kelly?
I say, oh. Yes, that is, I love it. I love having a map. I love having something to turn to. I love that we come from different perspectives, and yet we're saying the same things, and then the planet's validated and the energy's validated. So our tools this month would be your personal activations, what Venus is touching. So while Venus is in Gemini, she's going to touch anything you have in Gemini, Sag, or Virgo, Pisces pretty directly. If you have air energy, Libra and Aquarius, while she's in Gemini with the moon, it's a trine. It's ease and grace. It's a blessing without effort. So again, working that side of the air element, connecting to those ideas that are of a higher level for yourself, all very juicy and supported, that would be your personal council. We call the Sky Council is the chart. And the chart is crazy for April 23rd, 2023. It's ruled by Cancer. So, again, self-care 101 at the top of the list. You have to feel better in your body in order to go forward and play with those new ideas the mind might be presenting. And Mars is in Cancer in the first house. Mars is already all about you, but you put it in the first house. And now it's really important for your individual vision of your individual container. And what is that? How do you support yourself as you move through? And how do you protect yourself as you move through? Pallas, who's only there every 4 to 5 years, is giving you access to unique genius in your empathic nature, in your digestive nature. If it doesn't sit right with your gut, don't go with it. You know, we don't want to go against ourselves. Sirius, the nurturer, how we nurture and like to be nurtured, is in Virgo once in 4 to 5 years. And so what we need to be nurturing right now is our individual systems, fortifying them so they can handle more of what's coming through and process that. Again, filter it, what's for you, what's not for you. Because if it's not for you, you don't even have to waste your time. It's a beautiful thing. And then Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces together. So here we have the dreams and the reality planet moving in a zone that's going to end up where they meet and initiate a completely new vision of reality come 2025. And I have heard NASA mention that come 2025, the world's going to be different. I heard my son say it, and I don't even know what he was talking about. And all these people have this vision of 2025 being different, and it really, really, really is going to be different. So the inner work that we can do on these micro levels is going to help us navigate at those higher levels later. But now we got Jupiter and Chiron in Aries. And so that zone is where we're healing our individuality, our sovereignty, and preparing to tell a new story. But we got to figure out who we are and what we want in order to do that. So this reset is bigger. Jupiter's only there every 12 years. Chiron's only there every 50. So if you were born between 67 and 77, you're actually in the family having the Chiron return. And that's a group of people who came in to actually heal that individuality, to heal the sovereignty issue, to be able to be free in your own skin and navigate your own life and make your own choices. But the huge party, April 23rd, is Taurus. So even though Venus and Moon are linking up in Gemini and awakening that department for sure, this background energy is the Sun, Vesta, North Node, Mercury, Uranus, and Juno. That is 6 entities in Taurus alone. It's our identity and purpose being renewed once a year in Taurus. Vesta is only there every 4 to 5 years. What is sacred? Earth, Mother, the feminine. This masculine, patriarchal, dominant thing, whatever you want to call it, is a mere 5,000 years old. This planet is feminine. The way it works comes through the woman. Everything is feminine. Like she said, starts with feminine. And the feminine energy, male, female, or otherwise, is our container zone. It's how we contain, nurture, and protect. It's what the Council of Grandmothers is, the authority that delegates what to do, but then the masculine carries that out. And even within ourselves, if we can create the safe space for something to grow and develop, then we can also activate our own masculine to carry it out. But in this case, we're making the body sacred, all natural products for your household needs and for your body needs, and do as best you can to be all natural. North Node in Taurus is about to shift soon. I think April or May, it shifts to Aries. So this is a big once in 20 years where we reset our values and priorities there. Mercury is retrograde in Taurus. That's happening this week, I believe. Uranus, of course, is there once in 84 years. Juno's only there once every 4 to 5 years. And that's how we do commitment and intimacy. So don't we want to have pleasurable, joyful, sensual experiences in this body, in this physical embodiment that we were talking about, the spirit having a physical experience? I love that distinction. I think that's a beautiful distinction for us to hold on to. Now, mind you, all that Taurus is packed in the 11th house of friends, community, hopes, and dreams. So we have to have that faith as well. And we have to recognize that Mother Earth has provided absolutely every single thing we could possibly need to function at the highest level. So we have to find a way as a community, as a team of people who bring different gifts and talents to the circle and beautify our world again and make things real and create that value again within ourselves and our own bodies as well as in the garden. So before we go to divinations, you want to tap in on that?
Yes, I would love to tap on that. I have some final words, especially Natalie. I love because you kind of piggybacked and you walked me in, Mommy, even though you didn't realize, or you just walked me right on in. So I love that. Because you were saying focusing on the positive outcomes, but unable to see the steps. So this is where it takes a little bit of rewiring now, because we do have a path. The first thing I want everybody to understand, and piggybacking on what Kelly said earlier about us being here to serve Source, right? We're Source. So we can kind of shake that off and be like, oh, okay, so I'm going to be given everything I need because I'm here to actually serve something greater than what I am. And so then what are the steps? So number one, you are a portal. That's what you are. You are a spiritual being that was given a physical body in a physical place so that you can take something from the unseen and bring it into this place. So always write this down on part of your affirmations. I am a portal. As a portal, your framework is step 1, to feel, step 2, give what you are feeling to your masculine mind and just visualize it. Just go into a visualization and let your mind, let that imagination just flow in all of the whimsical and wonderful ways that something can be able to happen. So after you've mulled that around, you talk to your higher self, you good, you in line, then the next thing that you need to do, step 3, is to speak it. Use your Ofo Ashe to begin to speak these things into existence every single day. And then the final step is to do. Now, this is where doing looks a little bit different, because Lao Tzu said, I do nothing and I leave nothing undone. Here's the beautiful thing, Natalie. Don't even worry about the steps. Forget about steps. Throw that shit out the door, okay? Steps are not going to help us. We need to think of becoming. The doing that we are doing is different now. So it goes away from, okay, let me put a to-do list together, and let me get on social media, and let me do this, and all that doing that takes away from the energy. We're going to move to becoming. So after you've moved it around with your higher self, y'all got a little, at least your first visualization, think about with your new beginning, don't think about what you need to do, think about what you need to become. Because the universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. So that means that if I'm a business owner, I need to be courageous. So what areas of my life can I practice courage? If I'm trying to have a new beginning, maybe I need to learn how to say no instead of saying yes all the time. So I need to practice boundaries and protocols. So where in my life do I need to practice boundaries and protocol? Do I need to forge community? So now our to-do list looks a little bit different, y'all. It doesn't look like it how it used to. It looks more like, what are the characteristics that I need to practice and embody in order to make this thing come to pass? Because the steps is going to come. Trust me, I have stuff come out of nowhere all the time. And I sit here and I didn't work on something for years and years and nothing happened, and I've just exhausted myself. And as soon as I step away from it and give up on it, then somebody will just knock on my door and it just comes to me. And so this is little lessons that Spirit is trying to communicate to us of how we manifest in this new reality. So again, you are a portal, so feel it first. Then give it to your masculine mind to not talk you out of what you're feeling, but to support what you're feeling. That alone can be work alone to be able to believe what you are feeling. Then go ahead and start speaking and affirming every single day. This is what I'm going to have. This is how I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do. And then look at the characteristics of the type of person that you need to become and start working on the characteristics, not on the to-do list, all right? Not on those steps.
Oh, thank you, darling. That's amazing. I'm feeling left out, though. It sounds like you can see a chat I can't see.
Yes, Natalie said, this week my meditations are around knowing the positive outcomes but unable to see the steps, so I believe. And then she said, I believe even if I cannot see the specifics, but yes, I'm focusing on self-care, also trying new things keep popping up for me. Yep. And then she just said, I love that. I need to become, and I will explore that portal. Yep, Ashe, become the portal.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Yes, become the portal, like she said. I love it, and I wrote that down too. And I love that the universe gives you what you are. I love that too, because I'm always talking about how if we want to attract different kinds of mates or different kind of professional scenarios or different kind of experiences with other people, we have to change what we are to magnetize that, to create that vibrational match. So, deep breaths. We will pause in between each one because I know Nasa has a lot to share with us, and I love her input and insights, and I know we're going to walk away with just a wealth of understanding this month that we all will have to come back to this replay for, so I love it. But let's open to receive that which is just for you, coming from our story time. For those who are new, I'll do a quick refresher. You see how we have the archetype and the story are what's guiding our Venus cycle. We were looking at archetypes to clear and release and archetypes to embody and express. We were looking at stories. We took one story from Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and it was the red shoes, and it was about the unconscious contracts we make and the relationship decisions we make for safety and security that may not be for health and happiness. It's just the bad deals that we make along the way, whether it's personal or professional, and we were clearing out those old vows and old contracts that no longer apply. And that was what we were releasing. Now, on the Reclaim story, we're doing Vasilisa the Wise, and it's about connecting to your instincts and intuition to guide your moves no matter what the social collective is doing. We have internal wiring between our brain and our heart that is very unique to each individual. And so this story takes us kind of step by step to our embodiment of those instincts that will always be able to guide us. They might be rusty and neglected for some people, but all you have to do is send out that call to your system, and your system knows how to respond. And I love, love, love everything that Nasa's already said and that I've put on the table for this particular excerpt, because it's task number 6 for my numbers people, and it's called Separating This from That, which essentially is discernment. And when Gemini is kicking, we are presented with additional options and ideas and opportunities and concepts and points of view and possibilities. It's just a lot. And it is the choice department, where we would have to choose one or the other or both. In some cases, Gemini is totally capable of multitasking that way, right? So we want to call that in for those of us who aren't good at that and see what we can do. But that discernment is king or queen. It's your ace in the hole for you, is that if you can discern through your own filters, this is for me, this is not for me, you're halfway home. It's a beautiful thing. So, deep breath, story time. Always fun, always revealing. In this part of the tale, Baba Yaga requires 2 very demanding tasks of Vasilisa. So for us, the psychic tasks are these. We are learning fine discrimination, separating one thing from the other with the finest discernment, learning to make fine distinctions in judgment. In the story, she had to sort the mildewed corn from the good corn, and she had to sort the poppy seeds from a pile of dirt. Just imagine those slight distinctions. Observing the power of the unconscious and how it works, even when the ego is not aware. That's when these 2 pair of hands appeared out of thin air. So again, where we have the faith and we believe first, then how to get it done happens automatically. More learning about life, which is corn, and death, which is represented by poppy seeds. Vasilisa is asked to separate 4 substances, mildewed corn from whole corn, and poppy seed from dirt. The intuitive doll completes the sorting of one from the other. Sometimes this sorting process occurs at such a deep level it is barely conscious to us, until one day, deep breath, we awaken, essentially. We remember. We make the connection. We have the aha moment. The sorting spoken of in the tale is the kind which occurs when we face a dilemma or question, but not much is forthcoming to help us solve it. But leave it alone and come back to it later, and there may be a good answer waiting for us where there was none before. Or go to sleep and see what you dream. Perhaps the 2-million-year-old woman will come visit you from the nightland. Perhaps she will be bearing the solution, or will show you the answer is under your bed, or in your pocket, in a book, or behind your ear. It is an observable phenomenon that a question asked before bedtime, with practice, often elicits an answer upon awakening. There is something in the psyche, something of the intuitive doll, something under, over, or in the collective unconscious, which sorts the materials while we sleep and dream. And reliance on this attribute is also a part of the wild nature, Ashe. Deep breath. Symbolically, the mildewed corn carries a dual meaning. As a liqueur, mildewed corn may be used both as an inebriative and as a medication. There is a fungal condition called corn smut, a rather fuzzy black fungus which is found in mildewed corn. This being reputed to be a hallucinogenic, It is hypothesized by the various scholars that hallucinogens from wheat, barley, poppies, or maize were used in the old Eleusinian goddess rites in Greece. Additionally, the sorting of the corn that the Yaga bids Vasilisa do is also related to the gathering of medicines by the old woman healers. Deep breath. We see the woman healers' ancient remedies and treatments also in the poppy seed, which is a barbiturate, as well as in the dirt, which has been used since ancient times and is still used today in poultices and as packs in baths and even for ingestion under certain circumstances. This is one of the loveliest phrasings in the story. The fresh corn, mildewed corn, poppy seed, and dirt are all remnants of an ancient healing apothecary. These substances are used as balms, salves, infusions, and poultices to hold other medicines on the body. As metaphors, they are also medicines for the mind. Some nourish, others put to rest. Some cause languor, others cause stimulation. They are facets of the life-death-life cycles. Baba Yaga is not only asking Vasilisa to separate this from that, to determine the difference between things of like kind, such as real love from false love, or nourishing life from spoiled life, but she is also asking her to distinguish one medicine from another. Deep breath. Like dreams, which can be understood on the objective level, but still retain a subjective reality, these elements of food/medicines also have symbolic guidance for us. Like Vasilisa, we have to sort out our psychic healing agents. To sort and sort and sort to understand that food for the psyche is also medicine for the psyche, and to wring the truth, the essence, out of these elements for our own nourishment. Deep breath. All these elements and tasks are teaching Vasilisa about the life-death-life nature, the give and take of caring for the wild nature. Sometimes, in order to bring a woman closer to this nature, I ask her to keep a garden. Let this be a psychic one, or one with mud, dirt, green, and all things that surround and help and assail. Let it represent the wild psyche. The garden is a concrete connection to life and death. You could even say there is a religion of gardens, for it teaches profound psychological and spiritual lessons. Whatever can happen to a garden can happen to soul and psyche. Too much water, too little water, infestations, heat, storm, flood, invasion, miracles, dying back, coming back, boon, healing, blossoming, bounty, and beauty. During the life of a garden, women keep a diary, recording the signs of the life-giving and life-taking. Each entry cooks up a psychic soup. In the garden, we practice letting thoughts, ideas, preferences, desires, even loves, both live and die. We plant, we pull, we bury. We dry, seed, sow it, moisten it, support it, and harvest. The garden is a meditation practice, that of seeing when it is time for something to die. In the garden, one is moving with rather than against the inhalations and the exhalations of greater wild nature. Through meditation, we acknowledge that the life-death-life cycle is a natural one. Both life-giving and death-dealing natures are waiting to be befriended, forever loved. In this process, we become like the cyclical wild. We have the ability to infuse energy and strengthen life, and to stand out of the way of what dies. Ashe. Deep breath. That so articulates everything we just touched on. Nasa, do you want to jump in?
Yes, and while you were reading that story, I went on and pulled a couple of cards out of the Akashic Records because I wanted to see what it had to say, and it was also very in line with that. The first card that came out was the Architect, I'm not going to read everything, but it says here, at a mundane level, you could find yourself involved in a building project or renovating and redecorating your home or workplace. Most important, this card shows that it's time for you to step into a position of power. And I love that because we're talking about personal power today. And in order to do that, you must recognize your talents and your strengths. And I'm always wondering how many people on the call today really are sitting down and asking themselves, what am I good at? What was my purpose? Why am I here? And what am I a portal for? And so we really need to tap into that. And it says, as well as your authority to take charge, an opportunity beckons that utilizes your skills perfectly. Feel the command you have over the great scope of the situation and take charge. Let's come out of victim mentality, believing that we don't have any power here on this earth when we have all the power that lies within us. Now, this architect card said, close your eyes and take a relaxing breath and move deeply into the authority and confidence that comes from your eternal truth. You are in easy command. I love that word. This is supposed to be easy, y'all. So feel your talents and power stir within you as you design the destiny that you seek. And it also had a note in here that to look at the card that the architect is pointing to. So, of course, I was like, all right, well, let me go pull a card for that. And what came is the Karmic Trench. And what the Karmic Trench card is, it really is lining so much with the story that Kelly just told, because it is about rewiring old habits and old behaviors. And so if you take anything away today, just take away that main message of, if you want to create something new and you want to have a new beginning, then you have to change your patterns. You have to change how you do things. You have to change how you imagine your manifestation to be. So this is great. I love it. And Tanita says, brilliant. It's almost creepy how aligned with my own personal reflection this is echoing. And I always say, Kelly, we are one being in drag. And when one oracle speaks, all the truths are told. So it doesn't matter whether it's these cards or a download or a bibliomancy story that Kelly is telling you, we all share one consciousness. And so when the truth is spoken, all oracles agree. When the truth is spoken, all oracles agree.
I love that. Yes, I just want to also say, and you might want to pop back in on this, is that our solar plexus holds our childhood wounds. Mm-hmm. And that early programming that blocks our full blossom of power. So we're reclaiming. We definitely have already done a clearing there, 9 months ago, essentially. And so let's be mindful if we're slipping into any old behaviors. That's one of the reasons we bring on new people, is to introduce you to new tools and things that you can do. And Nasa's going to share her links and everything in the post call notes so that you all can reach her. What do you want to say about the solar plexus, baby?
Yes, I was really trying to stay spirit, but you got a spaceship, right? Your body is the spaceship for your spiritual soul, for yourself, right? That's really what I try to look at my body now, to really detach from identity and work my way back to wholeness. And so when you are doing that, you have to understand that each one of these energy centers are holding old debris. And so when you talk about your sacral area, I love how Womb Healer, she said, it's like a junk drawer. It's like a junk drawer. And so not only are you shoving things down there, but there's ancestral stuff in the sacral that you need to clear. There's past life stuff that you need to clear. And so when you want to birth something new, you got to go into that womb space and you got to go and dig that stuff up. And it has to come up, right? It has to actually work its way through, up into the throat chakra and out, right? We can get it up through each center, bringing light. In the sacral, you're bringing your, what's going on? Then you got to bring it into the solar plexus, which shines the light. That's the awareness of all the past gookity-gook that you do. Then you got to feel that ish, right? Sometimes you got to reparent yourself and go back to those old moments and be able to do that. And then vocalize it once. And when you're vocalizing it, because here's what I see a lot of people do, and I'm really trying to help them with that. It's like, you don't need to keep telling the same story, okay? Come up and then you be like, da-da-da-da-da, and this is how it was, and this is how it was, and then you're still creating more of the same. Speak it once. Let it come up. Let that dirty junk drawer stuff come up through those energy centers. Use your words to speak to it. Speaking to it means thank you for showing me where the origination of that pain, be it past life stuff, ancestral stuff, or this life stuff. Thank you for bringing that to my awareness. Now I'm going to use my ashe to be able to speak to what I want to create. I don't want to create that anymore. I want to create newness. I'm releasing this. This is how you are able to really let that bursting it up out of your body. And so now we want to make a nice clean womb, right? A nice clean space for us to be able to physically and spiritually create things. But your sacral, that's your womb space, man or woman. That's where you create all your newness out. So you got to go clear the shadows out of that sacral, and so you can be able to birth new babies.
Okay. Let me tell you about that, though. Let's go back to a reminder. March, April, May of 2022 is when we released at the sacral the soul famine, starving our souls, can't do that anymore, and the gambler, that inability to change, the lack of vision and forethought, impatience is all the gambler shadow archetype, right? And we released at the solar plexus the victim archetype, and the consequence of capture was what I kind of alluded to with the story earlier. What happens when we see something that looks like it's everything we ever wanted, and it looks like it's going to protect and support us, and you get in there and it's a trap. It's the consequence of capture, of being captured by that illusion, whatever it was. We release that victim at our solar plexus. So the way the chakras work, though, is we connect the crown and the roots, the sacral and the third eye, the power center and the throat. So we do this kind of back and forth with those, and we meet in the middle with the heart. But I just want to definitely validate that we did that release work, y'all. We released the victim. We released that part of ourselves that is making room for what's trying to birth and come into being right now. And that's another thing about winding down the cycle. What do you want in form that you can carry forward in terms of new ways of relating by July? That's really going to be important to know yourself, and that you did this work with us or without us. You all have done this work. So now the other divinations we have are from the Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards. They have a different culture of ancestors speaking to us. From every single card is a different culture, so I love this. And I thought this was interesting because it's Tibetan culture and Buddhism. It's called Teach and Share, and the keywords are instill, instruct, and educate. Buddhism was introduced to Tibet in the 7th century, where it developed in relative isolation. Over the centuries, the unique culture, identity, and language of the region became inseparably linked to Tibetan Buddhism, where great emphasis is placed on the spiritual masters and teachers of the Dharma. These teachers, called lamas, complete extensive study over many years to prepare for their role in providing healing, initiations, and ceremonies, and teaching their traditions, beliefs, insights, and wisdom. The lamas, monks, and nuns also have the added responsibility of protecting and promoting Tibet's environment, language, and culture. Tibetan lamas and monks devote their lives to the study and practices of Buddhism. However, religious practice is part of daily life for most Tibetans. Many families throughout the ages have proudly sent a child to the monastery to be educated as a monk. The ancestors speak. You are not alone. You may be questioning why you are here and what your true purpose is. This card has appeared to let you know that you are a natural teacher and it is part of your life purpose. You don't need to be a school teacher or a child care worker. You can show people a new way of being or looking at the world. You may be teaching your children and grandchildren everyday things, or you may be encouraging a friend to try something new and different. Value the wisdom and skills that you can pass on to others. The divinatory meaning says look at the ways you can incorporate teaching or mentoring into your life so others may benefit. You have the ability to connect with people from all walks of life and show them the way. Try not to overthink this aspect of your purpose. You may already be teaching others without even realizing it. Enjoy sharing your gifts with others. Then we got some guy. Now, I did want to say that your cards that you pulled, Nasa, were also really perfect for right now. And that's what made me also think about the solar plexus chakra for that power and your talents and your strengths. So just like it holds the childhood wounds, it also holds your power and your strengths and your talents and gifts. So always share cards, baby girl. We love that. And then the sacral as the junk drawer, I love that. That's totally going to go home with me. Oh, my goodness. So the cards I pulled are from the Vision Quest Tarot deck. We always pull a guidance and then a clarification card, basically is what it's evolved into lately. So our guidance was number 19, Sun, the evolution. The key words are evolution, vitality, illumination, beauty, joyous, fulfillment, contentment, bliss, love, ripeness, and inner and outer abundance. I love all that. And I'm really feeling that Taurus stellium. That was pretty big, y'all. The inner message says, the light of the sun keeps us alive. Its warmth allows us to exist on this planet. No wonder our indigenous ancestors prayed to it as a god or goddess. To them, the sun most vividly represented the presence of an immeasurable and eternal divine power. Solar power makes you enter a new stage in life now, a phase of happiness, fulfillment, and gratitude. Your inner sun is rising. Its radiance illumines your path. I would say illuminates your path. You no longer need help from outside. When you learn to trust your inner sun, see, again, we're doing that discernment, that inner light that guides you, okay? In the story, Vasilisa is carrying a skull on a stick that has a flame inside it. And that flame represents our ability to see and hear and smell and taste and pick up what we need to pick up to discern what's going on around us. So we no longer need help from the outside once you learn to trust that inner light. That's what all our striving is truly about, to find our own unique way, to live our own realizations, to follow our own inner light. The sun is a sign that you are very close to this. Deep breath. Outward manifestation says, with the dawning of a new awareness, everything changes within and without. So you've heard me say, when you change, everyone around you has to change or go away. That's just natural law. The vibrations of the coming age are touching you, altering your outlook, sweeping through your consciousness, freeing it from old thought patterns and the bondage of rigid routines. Deep breath. In this release, your energy wants to dance, to celebrate, to soar to unknown heights. The sun reflects the pioneering spirit that forges ahead with unflagging optimism and strength for the benefit of all. Surrender to the kiss of the inner sun. Most of all, enjoy this eternal moment of being filled with sheer presence. Ashe. Deep breath. So when I asked it to clarify this evolution, where's this evolution happening? Where's this light waking up and shining bright? And I got the daughter of fire, self-actualization. The key words are inspiration, love, faith, courage, hope, innocence, earnestness, sincerity, and unwilling to bind yourself. Ashe. Ooh, inner message. You feel deeply connected to the spirit in all of creation and should praise heaven for your inner realization. Remember that the oneness of existence includes yourself and remains forever intact, notwithstanding what we believe in or think about others. When we realize this oneness and maintain this awareness in our daily lives, we return to our innermost center. Deep breath. Outward manifestation says you are able to vibrate in accordance with your rising power. Just tune into your own rhythms now. Trust the force that animates you. It wants to lift you to a high heaven like the smoke rising from a bowl of healing herbs. The greater your faith in the secret forces that guide and preserve your existence, the more sure-footed will be your journey. Your path lies clearly before you. Deep breath. Now, NASA's an ace boom coon at the tarot, so come on in. The sun I know is Big Mama. Daughter of fire. Talk to me. Give me your filter on this.
Yeah, Daughter of Fire is usually Page of Wands. You know, I deviate a little bit from the overall what I consider, because I go through how consciousness works, but Daughter of Fire is usually Page of Wands. And that Daughter of Fire also comes with some very overbearing energy as well. So it really is another card of really balance and being able to harness your passion. That Daughter of Fire, honey, if I recall that card, that's the one where she on the horse, she on the horse stampeding up, and that horse is ready to go. And so it becomes, again, about how you are harnessing this inner power inside of you, so you bring forth what you need to bring forth in a balanced way, in a very balanced way. But, yeah, I love that.
So, my dear, do you have a closing meditation that will bring us home?
Absolutely. I've thought about this, and we always have to start with Ori. We have to start with our soul, because Kelly mentioned our contracts, and the original contract that our soul makes, it's just the soul and source energy before any of the other people and places and all of these things that bring our reality to existence. The very first contract is between you and source, because source, I say, poops you out and shoots you out, and all of a sudden you're this energetic being that's vibrating outside of the wholeness and the oneness. And of course, your very first question was, why am I here? Why did you eject me out of wholeness, source energy? And so I want us to all just relax, and, you know, you can sit up straight, and let's start with our breath, and go ahead and close your eyes. I love the sacred text that says that when you are lost and confused, you look to your inner eyelids. You look to your inner eyelids, and you can't see those inner eyelids with your eyes open. So I want everybody to just begin to just find a very relaxing space. And then I want us to start at our feet. We're going to start at the 10th chakra, okay? That's the 10th chakra, down at our feet. And I want you to make sure that you are touching the ground. Even if you're laying down, put your knees up so that you are touching Mother Earth in some form or fashion, even if it's just your carpet. Wiggle your toes into as if you are grounding your feet into sand, no matter what you are. You have a powerful imagination. Take yourself there. And then as you begin, I want you to just go up to your root chakra. And make sure that everything between your feet and your root chakra is extra relaxed. If you got to put a pillow under your knees or whatever you have to do, I don't want you to be concerned with your body at all. And then as you are at your root chakra, just check everything there. Is everything nice and relaxed? Relax. You can even use your ashe to tell your body, relax, body, relax. Then I want you to take your hands and put them over your diaphragm, over that junk drawer. And we're going to loosen up the junk that's there through breath. And so expand your belly with you inhale your breath. So inhale and make that abdomen rise with your breath. And then I want you to squeeze out the breath through contracting the abdomen. Going to make that womb space, that sacral energy, do that breath work for us. Breathe in through your mouth or nose, letting that bottom belly rise, and squeeze it out with your abdomen. Squeeze that air out. If you've never breathed through your belly before, it might feel weird, but that's okay. That's all right. And let that calming sensation come up through your next energy center, which is the solar plexus. Let that heat set in there, that electromagnetic energy. And then while you have your left hand on your womb space, I want you to put your right hand over your heart. Just let everything rise, everything you've been feeling from the day. It doesn't matter. Don't assign anything to it. Just let it release out your heart, whether it was frustration or joy. Feel it right now to your heart center. Then as you inhale, bring it up to your throat chakra, and I want you to physically let out the hum with your breath. Do that again. Let that buzzing sensation relax your shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax everything. And now we're going to bring the breath right at the forehead. And I want you to now turn on your imagination. I want you to begin to make a picture in your head. The imagination is actually a higher faculty. I know our child prison system that we call schools deadened our imagination and tried to have us all think the same thing. We're going to release that now. Going to release all the individualization that society told you that you had to be. I'm going to release that. You don't have to be anything other than what your soul is about to tell you. And I want you to let that light begin to flood your head, so much so that now you have a ring of light around your forehead like a crown. Like a crown. I want you to let that light begin to grow. And as that light begins to grow, you are seeing a shadow walk towards you. It may look like you. It may just look like a shadow. But let that being come to you and sense that being. And know that is your ancient soul self. The one being that sat with source energy for just a second to ask, why am I here? Why did you fractal me off? Why did you separate me from wholeness? Why did you separate me from wholeness? And I want you to ask that question to your soul. Soul, what does Source tell you? Share with me in this moment. Share with me at that one moment when I separated. What did Source tell you? Just listen. It may come in a word, it may come in a sensation, but just be there with yourself and ask yourself. You might even ask, what powers were you given? Each one of us on this call has a superpower. You deadened it. It was conditioned out of you. But ask yourself, what was my superpower? My healer, my lover, my teacher, my energy worker? I assure you, your soul did not sign up just to work a corporate job. That's not why you exist. You're here for a reason and a purpose. You are a portal. So be there as you are breathing. Let your higher self take you into caves unknown. Just stay with your breath. Stay with the light. Stay with your original self. with your original soul. Let them take you to the grassy meadows, to the water, to the sky, to a place where you may have forgotten who you were. Let that image begin to expand in your mind. Breathe in. Let your childlike imagination take you to unknown places. Let your soul tell you how special you are, how uniquely made, how even though we are all one being, that you are uniquely different and nobody can do what you do. If they could, source energy would not have created you, would not have fractaled itself out. So I will allow you a couple minutes of just breathing in silence, connecting with your soul source, and discovering that original contract. When you hear the bell, then begin to come back to your body. It's almost time. The bell will be ringing soon. So finish up any images, finish your trip, finish your sensation. And to follow the bell back. And awaken. Tell your higher self, thank you for your messages, for telling me what my power is. Now you can begin to have a deeper breath into your lungs, move your shoulders around. And I always tell people, give me a thumbs up in the chat and let me know that you're back. I don't like to leave anyone on the other side. If you would like to share with me and Kelly any messages, colors, or experiences that you have to help you maybe unpack the message from your higher self, we're here to support you.
I will say sometimes people fall asleep.
If you are in dreamland, then unpack via email. Does anybody need help unpacking any messages? Did you receive a message? If not, do this meditation several times. Did you receive a message of your original assignment or what your superpower was?
I'm definitely going to have to come back and do it again, but it's on time because I'm doing the Ajala story. For those who don't know, it's an origin story where we get to write our own story.
Yes.
And so there's a lot that came through with that for me tonight. So I appreciate you, baby girl. And I will say that the Venus Circle isn't real chatty after these things. They're usually still processing.
That's okay.
So I want to thank you and thank everybody. And unless you've got a burning question for one of us, you can definitely email any follow-up thoughts or ideas. NASA, send me a post-call note that I can include with your links and offerings because you all are ready. You're ready for this multidimensional thinking, for this next level of expression of being a voice for something that is rising up through you, that your power and talents and strengths are wanting to be birthed through this power center, through this chakra, through this idea that Gemini has anything to do with our expression, right? So we're using the support of the other planets, that strong 6 planets in Taurus, deepening our dedication to ourselves and our own bodies and Mother Earth's body while creating substance and value and beauty and food and sustenance. You know, it's all connected, y'all. And you are in such a new position compared to 9 months ago or 15, 16 months ago. You know, think about that. You have really come through a lot and graduated to new levels, one and all. No one is exempt. So thank you, NASA, for being with us, and so much love and appreciation for all of you for this soul work that only you can do. If you don't do it, it won't get done, honey. Nobody can do this for you. We can't pop a pill or hire it out. So I really do salute you and bow to your inner dedication to wholeness and to expressing your authentic self and sharing your gifts and talents with us. We need you. Come on, NASA.
I just want to reiterate, there is somebody waiting on you. There's a whole nother tribe waiting on you to believe in yourself and to become who you were supposed to be. So, yeah, please continue to do this meditation as many times as you need to so you can get to your original self. You need to know what that first contract is, because your soul is orchestrating all of it, all of the different lifetimes you've had, all of that. And so in order for us to really operate in our power, you know, but you are needed. I promise you, you would not be here on the earth if you were not needed. And your tribe is waiting on you. It's waiting on you to believe in yourself. It's waiting on you for you to be courageous. It's waiting on you. So don't leave your tribe waiting, my loves. Do not leave your tribe waiting.
Well, I will add to that we are all, very often, the people attracted to my circle are leaders of their own circles, or will be soon for some of you. I know some of you are birthing creative expression in other ways. So the teacher's teacher, the healer's healer, that is me and NASA. That's how we roll. And so we want to support you on your path because we know that you all are change agents that are going to go forward and facilitate evolution for great numbers of people. Even if you only touch 1 to 10 people, that exponentially grows from there automatically. So those of you that are touching hundreds and thousands through your sacred work and your offerings, we would be remiss without it. So stay faithful to that vision. And yes, like she said, go back to the meditation. I will cut it out so it's easy to go back to, and we'll make sure you have all the links that you need after this. But thank you, everyone. Be well. So much love, and congratulations in advance for your next level. Welcome to the next level.
Welcome to the next level, Ashe. See y'all later. Love y'all. Thank you so much.
Peace and love.